My name is Ali. I am the head of brand at AID. Before we start, quick disclaimer. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing here is a financial advice or recommendation to buy or sell of any asset. Crypto is volatile, regulations vary by country, and you should always do your own research or consult a licensed professional. Road to $100, the development and utility path behind AID's token story. People love price talk, so let's start here carefully. AID has a long-term narrative target that people repeat, $100. This episode is not a price prediction, it's a development and utility pathway analysis. What you need to be built, shipped, adopted, and measured for a token to justify a valuation that makes that number even structurally plausible. In other words, today we are answering a practical question. If someone says a road to $100, what exactly must happen between today and the destination in product, utility, and measurable usage for the market that take it seriously? Let's set backdrop first. As we move toward 2026, DeFi is no longer a toy story. It's a functioning financial layer. TVL is about 120 billion, stable coins are around 300 billion, and the DEX daily volumes are routinely in multi-billions. That matters because infrastructure tokens do not grow in hope, they grow in flow. Liquidity and settlement rails are the oxygen. Now, where are we today? As late of December 2025, AID is on BNB chain. Max supply is 100 million tokens. Market prices has been fluctuating around the mid-$5 range, and the most visible on-chain liquidity is on PancakeSwap. Treat these as the timestamp baseline coordinates, not a conclusion. Now, the math we cannot avoid. If a max supply is 100 million, then $100 per token implies roughly to 10 billion fully diluted valuation. 10 billion is not impossible, but it demands proof, not vibes. So there is straightforward answer to the commenter asking for the path to a 10 billion valuation isn't a single event. It's a sequence of phases where token demands becomes repeatable and tied to a real utility. I'm going to break this into 4 phases, and I will tell you exactly what to watch in each phase. Phase 1, foundation and credibility. Phase 2 is utility launch and repeat usage. Phase 3 is volume and value capture. Phase 4 is scale, stickiness, and defensibility. Again, this is not a timeline guarantee, it's a framework. Let's go phase 1, foundation and credibility. In this phase, the market is not asking, will it hit $100? The market is asking, is this real? And will it survive? So the development focus here is a basic non-negotiable, clean contracts, stable infrastructure, security posture, and clear token mechanics. The KPI is here not price. The KPI is the trust and readiness. You track contract verification and audit coverage, liquidity stability across key pools, reliable of core app entry points, and transparent documentation that reduce uncertainty for users. Why does it matter for a token growth? Because credibility lowers friction. Lower friction increase onboarding. Onboarding is the first step towards repeat demand. Let's come to phase 2, utility launch and repeat usage. This is where most projects fails. They launch features, but usage doesn't repeat. A token does not grow because utility exists. A token grows because utility becomes habitual. So in AID's case, this phase is not about turning features into reasons come back. The strongest utility categories that can drive repeat demand are intelligent access, execution advantages, and pending utility. Intelligent access means the token gates something user wants repeatedly. Analytics, AI report, risk scoring, and execution insights. Execution advantages mean the token is tied to better routing, lower cost, better outcomes, not as a promise, but as a system design. Spending utility means something like AID Pay can create frequency. Trading is episodic. Spending is but habitual. Now the KPIs for the phase must be brutally same. Daily active users, weekly retention, transaction per user, and the ratio of utility transactions versus purely speculative transfers. If you want a straightforward path toward higher valuation, this is where it starts. Repeat usage. Phase 3, volume and value capture. This is the phase that turn a token story from a community-driven into the market credible. Because at higher valuations, people ask one hard question. Where is the economic engine? If a stem starts root trades, processes swaps, force liquidity, and runs infrastructure that touch flow, then fees and measurable value capture become possible. The moment you can point to a real fee generation, you can build sustainable token economics around it. Buybacks, burns, staking demand, access rights, collateral requirements, and so on. But again, the market will not accept slogans. It accepts mechanics and data. So the KPIs in here is DAX or execution-related volume that's persistent, fee generation over time, and the conversion rate of volume into token demand through the clearly defined sinks. And when I say sinks, I mean what force or initiative token usage rather than a pure holding. Examples of token sinks in infrastructure ecosystem include fee discount paid in token, staking requirements for access to higher tiers, collateral usage for market making or execution, or buyback programs that apexically tied to protocol revenue. Now, this is the bridge to road to 100 logic. A 10 billion valuation becomes more defensible when a token is plugged into a machine that produces measurable activity and captured part of it. Phase 4, scale, stickiness, and defensibility. At the final phase, the token story stops being a project story, then becomes a market structure story. Because infrastructure value comes from dependency. If other users, other products, and other liquidity flows depends on your rails, switching becomes harder. The system becomes sticky, and stickiness is what supports premium valuation. In this phase, the KPI shift from raw growth to durability. Multi-quarter retention, expanding liquidity deep, integration count that actually drives usage, and improved into unit economics like revenue to initiative. This is also where regulatory and operational maturity began to matter more because the ecosystem becomes more visible and the market becomes less forgiving. Now, let's connect the phases back to command. The road to 100 US dollars is not one promise. It's 4 measurable phases. Foundation build trust, utility create repeat usage, volume create economic capture, scale creates defensibility. If AID delivers those phases and the metrics compound, the higher valuation become more plausible. If it is fail at any phase, the story remained narrative driven. But now, what should viewers track week by week? Here's a practical watch list that you can literally put into your notes. Now, what should viewers track week by week? Here's a practical watch list that you can literally put into your notes. 1. Product shipping cadence. Are realized and updates consistent? 2. Onboarding conversion. Do new users successfully become active users? 3. Retention. Do they come back next week? 4. Utility transactions. Are users using the token for access, fees, or spending? 5. Fee or revenue signals. Is value being created and captured? 6. Token sinks and supply dynamics. Is demand repeatable and structurally connected to usage? This is how you turn a price narrative into an infrastructure narrative. Quick weekly update. Team is pushing forward to product entry points and onboarding flows, especially around AID pay. And that matters because onboarding is not cosmetics. Onboarding is a strategy. If user cannot start easily, they do not stay. And if they do not stay, metrics don't compound. If you want the series to stay practical, comment what you want next. A deep dive in on token sinks and value capture. A breakdown DAX execution mechanics and routing, or a full AID pay episode focus on spending utility and transaction velocity. Next week, we go deep on AID pay, how real-world spending changes transaction frequency, and why frequency is the missing ingredient in most token stories. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want the structure first and emotion last. Please follow us our social media. You can see the QR barcodes on the screen. See you next week. Bye-bye.